So, what if the biggest revolution in technology wasn't some big, flashy event? What if you barely even noticed it happening? Well, by 2026, that's exactly where we are. Artificial intelligence isn't a loud spectacle anymore. It's become the silent, invisible framework that just runs everything.
I mean, just let that sink in for a minute. We've totally moved past the idea of using AI as a tool. Now we're just living inside of it. It's not an app you have to open, it's the air you breathe in our digital world. It's this constant, quiet intelligence that's making everything smoother, faster, and way more intuitive.
So you might be asking, how on earth did we get here so fast? Well, the key was this massive shift. AI went from being a tool we had to think about to something called ambient intelligence. Basically, an invisible layer that's just woven into the fabric of our lives.
And that's the part that's kind of wild to think about. We don't even really talk about AI that much anymore. It's like talking about electricity. You don't say you're using electricity, right? It's just on. And that's AI now. We just expect our devices to know what we want, our services to be predictive, and our world to react to us. It's simply the new normal.
The secret sauce behind all of this is something called agentic AI. Okay, so forget those old clunky chatbots you used to ask questions to. These new systems are proactive. They don't just sit around waiting for you to tell them what to do. They actually figure it out. They anticipate your needs, they string together a whole bunch of complex tasks on their own, and they learn from every single thing they do. It's the difference between a hammer and, well, a silent partner who builds the whole shed for you.
So what does this invisible intelligence actually look like day to day? Well, for most of us, it feels a lot like life is running on a very, very smart autopilot.
And look, it's not about one single huge change. It's about 1,000 tiny, almost magical conveniences that just add up. Your calendar is now basically a personal assistant, negotiating meeting times with other people's AIs so you don't have to. Your home just knows your routines, tweaking the lights and temperature without you even thinking about it. These systems are always one step ahead, making life feel, well, just a little bit easier.
You know, when you boil it all down, the biggest upgrade here isn't the tech itself. It's the reduction of mental clutter. All those little decisions and annoying tasks that used to suck up all our energy, they're just handled now, seamlessly, in the background. It's like getting a huge chunk of your brain's RAM back, and you're finally free to focus on stuff that actually matters.
And of course, this massive shift isn't just happening at home. Oh no. It is completely blowing up the way we work, pushing us way beyond the traditional 9 to 5 and into a much more dynamic and flexible future.
And leaders like Microsoft's Satya Nadella have been saying this for a while. The conversation is changing. It's way less about jobs being replaced and much more about jobs being completely redefined. AI is creating this whole new work ecosystem where our human skills are amplified, not erased.
So this new workplace, what does it actually look like? Well, you can kind of think of it in 3 layers. At the very top, you've got the visionaries. These are the human leaders setting the big picture goals. In the middle, you have the knowledge workers. That's us, the human experts who guide and fine-tune the AI's work. And then you have the virtual agents, the AIs themselves, executing all the routine, data-heavy tasks at a massive scale. It's a real partnership, with each part playing to its strengths.
And hey, this isn't some far-off dream. It's happening right now. We're seeing real companies like Microsoft Japan prove that a 4-day workweek can actually lead to a 40% jump in productivity. We're seeing doctors finally freed from mountains of paperwork to actually focus on their patients. Businesses are saving thousands of hours on admin. This isn't the future of work, it's the new reality of work.
Okay, but you don't have to just take my word for it. Let's look at the actual numbers behind this productivity revolution because honestly, they're staggering.
Let's start with someone on the ground, a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. For him, AI isn't some abstract idea. It's an extra 30 minutes of quality time he gets to spend with each client every single day. Now, multiply that by thousands of advisors, and you start to get a sense of the scale we're talking about here.
And that's not just one guy. Look at these numbers across the board. A 14% productivity boost for customer support agents, that's great. A 35% jump for new hires, which shows how AI is supercharging training, even better. But a 126% increase in productivity for software developers, I mean, come on. That's not just a boost, that's a whole different reality.
Over at Uber, a single internal AI tool clawed back 13,000 hours of engineering time.
Just imagine what kind of innovation gets unlocked when you give your smartest people that much time back.
And look, this isn't just a tech industry thing. At McDonald's, an AI-powered hiring system slashed the time it takes to bring on new staff by a whopping 65%. That means less time for managers stuck in the back office and more time out on the floor with customers. The gains are everywhere.
But, and this is a big but, with all of this incredible power, we have to talk about some very, very serious questions. We just can't talk about all these amazing benefits without confronting the really complex ethical maze that AI creates.
And you know what? People are absolutely right to be concerned. A staggering 78% of us are worried about how our data is being exploited, and almost 2/3 of people are concerned about hidden biases baked into the algorithms and the total lack of transparency in how these AIs make decisions. These aren't niche worries anymore. They're front and center.
And that right there, that's the trust gap. Only 40% of people are actually comfortable with an AI making important decisions without a human in the loop. The message from the public is loud and clear. We want the benefits of automation, for sure, but we are not willing to give up human accountability to get them.
You want a perfect example of this double-edged sword? Look no further than facial recognition. On one hand, it holds the promise of making our lives safer and way more convenient. But on the other hand, it opens the door to a terrifying world of constant surveillance and biased algorithms that we already know can harm minority communities. Navigating that tightrope between progress and peril is one of the biggest challenges of our time.
So where do we go from here? What's the solution? Well, the future of AI isn't some zero-sum game between humans and machines. It's about forging a powerful new kind of partnership.
Look, the goal here was never about replacing us. It's about augmenting us. It's about combining the incredible raw processing power and efficiency of AI with the things that make us uniquely human: our intuition, our creativity, our empathy, and our moral judgment.
And, the experts over at MIT Sloan really hit the nail on the head here. They argue that the biggest challenge isn't actually the technology, it's the culture. To really make this work, we have to build organizations that value accountability, that empower people to constantly evolve their roles, and that never ever forget that this technology is here to serve us, not the other way around.
This invisible revolution, it's so much more than just a tech shift. It's a fundamental chance for us to redefine what we want to do with our time and our intelligence. As AI takes over all the boring, mundane stuff, it frees us up to tackle the truly monumental challenges. So the question is no longer, what can we automate? But with all this new power, with all this time back, what truly meaningful problems are we going to solve?